or um, the project for all the dogs has been out for about, I'll say, a week or so. Um, do you have any new thoughts on it since revisiting
Uh,
it? Have you listened to it anymore?
Yeah, I listened to a lot of my favorite songs on there. I really like Tried Our Best. I still like the Pluto song, the Chief Keef song. Um, Away from Home, that's still my favorite song on there. But I do get why, people that don't like it, if you don't like singing Drake, then you ain't gonna like this project because he didn't rap too much on it. But I do think the music, if you judge the music based off what it is and not what your expectations are, you'll like the album. I don't think it's people trying to say it's like trash and they're saying he's falling off. I don't think it's his if it is his worst album, that's because he just makes real good music. So
It's
you know
hard
what I
to
mean? So
compare.
I don't think it's as bad as people making it seem. I enjoyed the album a lot. What do you think?
After just listening to it, I mean, it still kind of gives me the same feeling. Like, not necessarily that it's even a bad album, more like I kind of agree with what you're saying. It's just like, what do we think it was going to be? I mean, like his a lot of his last projects have been similar to this. Like, he's
Yeah,
basically giving people, giving a lot of different groups. He has to basically feed a lot of different people at one time. Anytime he has an offering, he has to go to, you know what I'm saying, the pop. He has to do the hip hop. He has to do the. Now he's even doing like a Latino, like Bob's the
yeah,
Bad Money song is doing good. Like just he's. I'm not gonna say he's only playing a numbers game, but he has to play a numbers game when he's this big of an artist, and you could just tell
yeah,
the track list is split up just like perfectly fine. Like 8 songs this, 8 songs that, 8 songs that.
right.
And I think if you're looking at it from that perspective, I feel like he did relatively good. If that's the goal,
For
um,
him, yeah. I mean, he did what he
what he's
wanted to do.
supposed to do. I mean,
Right.
I feel like he's been open to some of the criticism of saying that he needs to mature more and open up. I feel like he's always been super duper mature. I mean, I guess vulnerable and emotional in his music. So I mean, I guess it's just more like what
Sonically, I feel like they want to hear traditional stuff. And some of the content is kind of, but at the same time, it's just at the same time, I don't like the immature thing truly because we're only asking him to do it because you want him to go somewhere that he might not even want to go yet. You know
he's
what I
maybe
mean?
not
And
in
so,
that place in his life to be there.
right. So it's just that, and that's the frustrating for people because I could understand. Like I would like more. I would like to hear more rapping. I would. I'm not saying I wouldn't. I don't know if I would want to hear a whole project of it. I'm not sure I would,
That's what
but
I'm saying.
definitely
Like,
more of it would be cool.
that's what I'm saying. Like
But because I know I'm listening.
if he goes that whole way, that's what I'm saying. He's isolating the biggest part of his fan base if he just worries about
Right.
being this hip hop, this hardcore rapper. It's like that's not who's I don't think that's who's going to his tour. Those aren't the people at the tour. Those aren't the people that, in my opinion, that's streaming this any of the albums.
Exactly.
It's the kids, the women, and the dance that are like the pop fans. Like, but yeah, what you saying?
Yeah. Basically more of what you're saying. Like it's just, he he has to please a lot of people. And the people that he has to please the most, I feel like they like the album. It's not his best album, but like this 36, 37-year-old Drake, he's given us classics before. He's rapped on rap verses before. It's like expecting him to run the industry is I feel like even I was waiting. I know I was for sure. And I still enjoy the album, even for what it is. It's like one of my favorite albums of the year. Um, but I definitely was waiting. Oh, Drake, the album this year, the music hasn't been that good, but Drake is gonna make it right. Like
Hmm.
having that mentality, we shouldn't have it anymore because I'm not going to say it's the end of his career, but he's been here for so long. He's already performed. So it's almost like expecting LeBron to win a ring. It's expecting Kobe to win at the end. Like there's new people in the industry now, and we should hope, and we don't hold them to this standard that we hold him to, and we should.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So like the artists, and that's what I was getting to. The artists that came out recently, they're not releasing a quality product consistently over time. They might have a good song here and there. They might have a good project here and there. But when you look at Kendrick, when you look at Cole, when you look at Drake, when you look at even Future, even Travis, um, their first couple projects, they were they were they were here. They're their best projects. Kanye, the first three or four projects. I mean, Kanye really hasn't had a bad album, but you think about Good Kid, Mad City, Section 80, To Pimp a Butterfly. Damn, those are all good projects. J. Cole's first couple of mixtapes, Sideline Story, Born Sinner, 2014, Forest Hills Drive. Very good projects. Um, Thank Me Later, or what is it? Thank Me Now or Thank Me Later? I forget. For Drake's. What else? Take Care, and then Nothing Was the Same. And then if you're reading this too late, like all of their first couple projects are their best projects. And we can't say that about anybody that's come out within the last 5 years. You know what I'm saying? They've come out with a very good project or a very good song, and then their next couple years, it's not consistent with what they started
Mhm.
with. And had they done that, we wouldn't be relying on Drake's project to be
The feeder.
so important this year because such and such that came out 3 years ago just dropped, and that project is the best album of the year. And such who came out 2 years ago just dropped, and that's his second album, and that's one of the best albums of the year. And we get this little Drake project that I don't mean to call it little, but it's like we wanted him to do this, but he didn't do that. But it's cool because what's the name that came out last year is about to drop in 3 months. You get what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like that's the problem with music because people are making it so quick, and what you need to make it as far as artistry, you don't need. Marketing is kind of different. If you could figure out social media and it's something hard to do, you can get signed. So it's like you can have a very good brand, and if you have a very good brand and you make music and you can make a song that can take off, this is a formula that doesn't mean this is a formula that doesn't equate to longevity in making music that'll last. It's a formula that equates to you building a social media following pretty quickly. And that's it. And that's who the labels are signing. So they're not signing people who can make music long term. And it might be beneficial for them,
Yeah.
right?
It's just
So
this social media area, like everybody is just trying to get that hit, and then they're signing everybody off these hits. Like Sexy Red, they just she's like a part of this new crop, but that's what I'm
yeah.
saying. She
I
got a
like
small
I
amount of
like her though.
time before she got to put an
Yeah.
album out, or it's on to the next one.
I was talking about this before. Like, I feel like a lot of artists would benefit from songwriters. Somebody else write our raps, but in certain instances, I think it's cool. And she was talking about it the other day, and she might have acted like she don't get as much help as she does, or maybe I just don't know what I'm talking about, and she don't get that much help. But I feel like she gets a lot of help, and I think that's why her music was so good. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'd rather that be the case. I'd rather you come out with a hit and you get to the big leagues, you get to the industry, and now you're like, hey, look, I'm signed, but maybe such and such does write this. Somebody else help me pick the beats. Somebody help me sequence this. Somebody help me write something vulnerable. You get what I'm saying? So that the product is still good. I built a brand and people are already connected to my brand. Now let's do what we need to make it a long-term thing. The labels don't do that, and the labels could, but they don't. Um, and I think that is a problem because they can turn Ice Spice into a a bigger artist than she is. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully she does grow and she does develop. But if she were to get writers help, beat help, a lot of different help, she can hopefully in 2-3 years she's still here. But if they're just letting her do what she wants to do, hopefully she's talented enough, she's skilled enough that she will be here in 4 years and it'll be good music. But there's a very big chance that if they just let her do what she wants to do, that in 3 years, if she's still out, the music's not that good. And I'm just using her as an example because she's somebody else who's came out recently off of a song that, you know what I'm saying? Like when I think about an artist like Rapsody, right? You know about Rapsody?
Yeah.
Very lyrical, very like she's one of the best songwriters, one of the best rappers, period, men and women. But she doesn't have that marketability of an Ice Spice. Um, Even she could benefit from some help, but again, that's rap ego. You get what I'm saying? And she does get help the way she wants to, and she markets herself the way she wants to. And I think she did an interview saying they could market her a certain way, but it's just a look different. You could stay in your lane though, and I think that's really what she's doing. But my point is, there's a there's two different artists. There's an artist that is easily marketable, but doesn't have the substance, and the substance is what'll make you last a while.
Hmm.
And then there's some artists who have all substance and they don't have any marketability, and they can utilize somebody that has the marketability or could teach them or who can write it, and that way it meets in the middle, and the longevity and the shiny object is needed because both is needed. You need to be marketable and you need substance. While you need to be marketable so that a lot of people can know who you are. Once we know who you are, we need a reason to stick around. And if you can do that consistently, you'll create a fan base and you'll create a long career. So the labels seem to only care about the people that can get a bunch of people, and it's on the artist once they get to that place to create the substance or not. So
Yeah.
I feel like that's why the music industry is where it is.
Yeah, and I mean, artists like Rhapsody, right now, I feel like they're pushing women who sell like sex appeal. And like,
Right.
I
I
feel
don't
like
think she don't want to do that.
no, I feel like they could look at possibly like marketing her similar to like a Missy Elliott or somebody like if she can make, she don't have to basically switch her whole style up, maybe just get some more like industry production like Pharrell or Timberland beats or something that might be able
Right.
to, and maybe get some writers for some hooks or something because she can rap like
Yeah.
she can probably rap better than 90% of all the man like male rappers
For
that's
real,
out
for
right
real.
now. She's probably rapping better, but it's the marketability. Like if Ice Spice, Sexy Red, Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, they all have the same thing in common. I'm just like,
Hmm.
I don't know. Is that good or bad for him?
Even Meg the Stallion, out of all of the newer artists, she can rap the best. She has everything though. She can be marketable, but even with her, she doesn't get into her rap bag like she can. She just doesn't because it doesn't make
It
to
doesn't make
her
dollars.
right. She can pull it off, but because that's in her, she's very interesting, and she really knows how much she needs to tap into that substance that I'm talking about, that skill that I'm talking about, that'll hold people. And she even taps into it with her personality brand too. So she's like very like like I don't credit to her and her team if they're involved, but it really seems like it's just her insight. Because when you look at freestyles, like she raps, I like a lot of these artists, a lot of these we could keep it on female rappers, but even the rappers, even the male rappers that do melody and stuff, they don't do freestyles and none of that. Whereas Meg could do a freestyle and really rap, and she writes them. So it's like she has that over Cardi. She's in that Nicki Minaj lane where she's very marketable, but she can also rap. She has skill and she can get vulnerable. And that vulnerability, um, that substance is again needed in order for a fan to feel connected to you, um, through the music. Um, and that's what creates longevity when you find a connection between the artist within the lyrics. You know what I'm saying? She's able to do that better than everybody. So like she's somebody out that I definitely don't worry about because she can do both. She'll be here for a while
She can actually rap.
and she can market. She's marketable. Like, so she's you know what I mean? Like when you think about Rapsody, what she lacks, Rapsody's better at the
The bars.
lyricism, maybe, but Meg is more marketable. She's a more of a, you know what I'm saying, in some way, in a way. I don't want to disrespect Rapsody. Um,
I, I just think
sh-
honestly, Meg is, I mean, she's more revealing, and I just feel like I hate that's where hip hop is, or even just entertainment is.
yeah,
Like that's, you know what I'm saying? That's what people want to see. That's what
and
people
that's
want
what I'm
to
saying.
learn about.
I ain't want to disrespect Rapsody because it could be like saying somebody's more marketable, and that kind of what it comes down to. Um, Meg is really open with her sexuality, of course, um, and that gets more attention. Her personality is very freeing too. Um, it's just, so it's a little bit more marketable. It looks fun, right? Like, so she's a multifaceted type personality, it seems. So it's easily to sell that because she can do things that others would be uncomfortable doing. And
That's a skill.
it is a skill, and it's something it takes, it takes a certain type of personality, a certain type of mindset to even do these type things. The sex sells, it does sell, but everybody doesn't want to have their body out there. That is it is even that physical vulnerability, because that's what it is when you're face facing, when you're forward facing, and your body is part of it. That is a vulnerability because a lot of people would feel uncomfortable with it, even if their body is attractive. There's a lot of women that just they don't have that in them to want to put to show. You get what
Hmm.
I'm saying? So it is a skill. Everybody isn't that attractive. You could have the right body and not have sex appeal. You can have quote unquote not the right body and have more sex appeal than somebody that does. So it is a different skill. It's just you have to pair it with something else in order to be a longevity artist that's also mainstream successful. It's hard doing what we're talking about. It's hard to be,
No, for sure. But it just seems like
especially as a woman. Yeah.
the barrier for women is like they have to do that. Like there's not, I can't think of one artist. I mean, Rhapsody isn't quite mainstream, but like we know her because we just love the art. But like,
Yeah.
I can't think of one female artist that didn't have to make that compromise. I don't think we got to talk about it since, but this that whole trial with Tory Lanez and everything. Like, what are some of your quick thoughts? I don't want to go too deep in it because they still
I
go
think
on
they have a
forever. But yeah,
I think they have a documentary and I want to watch it. But man, it's just my quick thoughts on it is just it's unfortunate. I'm happy. What I always come back to is how different it would have been if it was a fatal situation. So like
exactly.
I'm grateful that she only got ricocheted or whatever happened. Whatever happened, I wish it didn't happen, but at least that's all that happened. I wish he wasn't in that situation in order to be, because he's gonna do some time. And I don't like. I also I have empathy for both sides. He was on his way. I was a Tory Lanes fan for a while too. Like maybe shortly after J. Cole, I stumbled upon Tory Lanez like a couple years after, like 2014. This is like the first Chicks tape. So this is before a lot of people got onto him. And I can remember thinking, okay, he raps very well. He could do the melody just about as good as Drake. His voice sounds a little differently too. So, and he produces. So I always thought he had the potential to be one of those big players. And it was taking him a while, took him longer than I was expecting. But when COVID happened and he was doing his thing with quarantine radio, it really seemed like he was really about to make a leap. And
Yeah.
and then this happened. So like that part of it, is unfortunate. I wish he made better decisions. Uh, it pretty much what pretty much the truth is pretty much that he's pretty much irresponsible in whatever happened. So I'm just hoping that he gets the time that he needs. I'm hoping he gets the time that not he needs. He gets the time that he deserves. He gets out. And hopefully he changes his behavior. Because there's things that he did that he didn't have to do. That would even lead to him being in the position that he's in.
Exactly.
And I'll vaguely say that she did some things afterwards that I could understand why she would, but I wish she didn't do what she did do, because it caused confusion for everybody. There was a lot of Toy versus Meg going on, women versus men going on, and I never really enjoy any of that, especially with two artists that I look I don't want to say look up to, but I am inspired by both of their come ups and their stories.
Facts.
And I was, what I'm saying? So I don't like to see that night happen. Like it really it bothers me truly. Because it's hard to pick a side. I don't want to pick a side. I'm not for injuring women though, that's for sure. Um, I don't know how that happens. I don't know how you explain how that happens.
The little man complex.
And look, I'm king of the short niggas. And we had to revoke his card. He's no longer in the short nigga group message. He's no longer. He was on the skinny nigga committee. I'm not head of that one because it's nigga skinnier than me. And this nigga shorter than me, but
Ruined it
I'm
for
like,
y'all. He ruined it for
this
y'all.
he really did. He was having us going on a nice trajectory, and now it's they looking at us like we are Tory, and it's like no, that's not the
Oh
case.
man.
We're not like that. You know what I'm saying? It's just man, he's too talented for that to happen.
I
You know what I
know.
mean?
I really
He
wasn't. I kind of
I'm
dig.
listening.
I kind of dig back into some of his music because I wasn't too tapped in. Only I was tapped in like on the commercial stuff that everybody was listening
Yeah,
to. Like, bro, really was talented. He really is talented. Like, he's not dead. I mean, there's still chance for redemption. He can do his time, and
yeah,
I
come
feel like
out.
if he does his time, we gotta let it go. Wherever the situation was, he paid
Yeah,
his debt to society, but he for sure is talented. Like, he can, just a singer, like he just how to me he's like he could be a perfect writer just because like he can go into anybody's world and make their song
right,
damn near. But
right.
yeah,
Even like with him chopping stuff up, like everybody now is obsessed with sampling, right? And sampling stuff from 2000s. He was doing that with all the Chicks tapes. sampling stuff from the 90s, R&B. What I like about him, and I don't like it about a lot of today's sampling, is today's sampling, he did it in a certain type of way. He'll sample a song and it wouldn't it wouldn't be too far off from the original song. You could tell the original song, but it wouldn't be a carbon copy of what he's doing. And then when he did those Chicks tapes, when he brought the artists on there, um, that he sampled and they like redid the song, like it was just so cold and like creative. Whereas now a lot of people, like, that's a formula right now, especially for female artists. Sample up something from the 2000s that was a hit. Don't make it too far off from the hit. And a lot of them, they be using the chorus almost. And that's just like, it's not even creative no more. It's not even, it might as well be a remix. You know what I'm saying? So
You heard
I
that
really,
NW Chopper song? Basically, that Nelly, basically him sampling Nelly out in here.
yeah, I think I seen the video, like a snippet of the video. And that's like what I'm talking about. It sounded a lot like it, right? Yeah, I don't,
You
he's
can
talented
sample
too.
Grace, or you can. That's just yeah. That's like a reinterpretation more so than a sample, in my opinion. Just because, like,
You're just, and he's too talented for that. You know what I mean?
exactly.
You're you're just riding off of people liking that song from before, and then you're hoping because it worked before and it was a good song before, people that haven't listened to it because they're younger, um, enjoy it as well. But it's just like it's not
Feel
it's
that.
not good. It's not the Nelly song. So it's not good. And
It
we're
really,
just in that. I'm listening.
yeah, like you're saying, it's just like it's just like a dead period. It seems like, but I feel like somebody's going to come up. Like we need a lot of new artists, like this three-headed Kendrick, Drake, and J Cole. I feel like they're almost blocking, not blocking it from happening, but like I don't know. It just seems
Yeah.
like this this new class of artists we're just waiting for. I don't know if we're gonna ever get them, um, or just like I mean, Uzi to me,
Somebody just has to want it.
yeah. I think
Uzi to you,
our crop was Yachty, Uzi, EP1. That was the people.
right?
Kodak, Denzel Curry.
Right.
Like that was, I guess, the next class of artists that we were waiting on. But hip hop has just evolved. We're not gonna get, and that's fine. Like we're not gonna get like Outkast type artists or Kanye again. Or it just is what it is.
The artists that make it, the ones that want it, they'll get there. That's what I'm thinking. Like you got to want it, and maybe they start to want it, and then they get close and they don't want it anymore. You know what I'm saying? Joyner Lucas could have. You know what I mean? Possibly like
Yeah,
when I think about those big three, to me, when I think about like the rap superstar, like what's the best rapper? Like being able to be commercial, so being able to write hits, make hits consistently, being able to write a verse that's everybody likes, is charismatic, and it has punchlines, metaphors, those type of things. Um, and then being able to be vulnerable throughout an album, you know, talking about interpersonal stuff however you can. It doesn't have to be every song, but there has to be a moment of vulnerability where you'll be able to connect, where you'll be able to connect with everybody. Um, and then being able to create albums also. And I don't think everybody cares about all of those things. I think they care about hits and that's it. And they care about money, right? So they figured out how to make money, and then the art just falls to the wayside. You know what I mean? Nobody cares about. Somebody will. You know what I mean? And make it, and that artist will be the biggest artist because he's playing the game by himself, because nobody else is trying to do that. Nobody else cares to do that. Um, or it's hard to do, so people are gonna fail to do it. So um, hopefully we'll have somebody soon. Somebody.
Yeah, maybe it's just like so much music, and I think so much industry power within the streaming platforms that like I feel like back in the day, I didn't hear from artists based on Spotify or Apple Music. Like I heard from blogs or
Yeah.
word of mouth. Like I heard about Drake from somebody at school. I heard about Kendrick from somebody at school. Like J. Cole even from somebody at school. Like it's just a whole different time. I don't think they're not even breaking artists at the same in the same medium. Like there's a
Right,
lot of
right,
good artists, but it's probably just impossible to find them. Like like
for sure.
yeah. I mean, just to end out, I guess we can end out music this way. But do you think like I guess, and there's no like definite best rapper, but do you think the best rapper or best hip hop artist can have writers, or do you think they should have writers, or are you disqualified if you have writers? Like,
I think you got to put them in a different category. Like if we say best rapper, we got to ask, what does that mean? If we say best artist, then it'd be different. You get what I'm saying? So it's
mhm.
like if the main part of rapping, if the main part of calling somebody a rapper is is the the writing ability is part of it, then yes. But if we're talking best artist in hip hop, then that is different. Because that allows you to, that criteria is different. You know what I'm saying? When you talk about the best entertainers of all time, they all have been written for. We don't say Michael Jackson is the best entertainer because he wrote all of his songs. You get what I'm saying? We say it because he sang well, he
Mhm.
has hits, and when he was on stage,
He's the
he
best performer.
performed better. You get what I'm saying? We call the best songwriters. We say these people wrote the best songs, and they might not performed every song that they wrote. You know what I'm saying? Rappers is kind of that middle ground between the two. I wrote all my raps, and this is how those raps performed. You can't be the best rapper if you didn't write all your raps. And but this is where I also put an asterisk. If somebody wrote a chorus for you,
That don't count.
that don't count. We talking about the verses. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it. You could be the best artist and have a whole bunch of songwriters for you. So you could be the best hip hop artist. You know what I'm saying? Kanye gets writers. He's one of the best hip hop artists of all time.
Dr.
Maybe not the
Dre,
best rapper.
yeah,
Dr.
Dr.
Dre.
Dre, Drake. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, I
I,
mean,
I put him in that rapper pile because most of his verses, I mean, I don't think anybody's written a rap verse for Drake. But of course, yes. You know what I'm saying? Like I think maybe somebody wrote Hotline Bling, something like that, or I forget, one of those pop songs. Like if Drake like is getting pop songs written for him, he can still be considered as the best rapper. You get what I'm saying?
yeah,
You're like, oh, you got ghostwriters. Yeah, my ghostwriters wrote the pop songs on my album.
yeah. The best artists in any other genre have 10 art. They have 10 writers. They have
Yeah.
more than they
Look,
probably have a whole team of writers. It's really just hip hop where it's
where
really
we
because it's
hmm
about like the art of hip hop is storytelling and having your
yeah.
own unique perspective and like maybe it just evolves into I think at one point it actually won't even matter. I think AI is going to
That's
be
what
is going
and
to
that's
make
what
it
I'm
not matter
saying.
anymore.
That's why it needs to, otherwise it will die. Um, who cares at this point? You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying? Like even with the I don't he doesn't live his raps. Like I can understand that, but there's a lot of storybook novel writers that create the best thriller books, and they're not, you know what I'm saying? Like a movie director doesn't have to be what he writes about. Somebody who writes books doesn't have to be what they have to write about or have lived any of the things they're talking about.
Exactly.
There doesn't have to be the thing they're acting in order for them to. If you're good at writing a song and the song is talking about this, that, and the third, and you haven't lived it, that shouldn't take away from the art. You get what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
only in rap is it like that, and it really does take away from the art because there's some people who can rap a certain way and others who can't and have lived it, but because they lived it and they want to rap it, but they're suck at rapping it, they need to link up with the person who didn't live it but can rap it better than to create the product. But that
Hmm.
doesn't happen in rap, and vice versa. You shouldn't have to live this certain way. And I would respect, maybe people wouldn't. I would respect the artists who say, "Yeah, I'll be talking about this, but that's not what I'm on." Like I'm the opposite. I came from this home, this, that, and the third, but I listened to this type of music, and I was inspired by that type of music because of that, and that's how I created this. So yeah, I really think the industry will change. It has to. Our genre has to.